right? And so we're really not late. If we thought it would come at 2:05, it could come at any time now. We know it's coming. We do know it's coming. Families have returned to the courtroom. I can tell you there are sweaty palms, there are sweaty foreheads, hearts are racing. Everyone in that courtroom, on either side, everyone in that courtroom has the same kind of anxiety at this moment as they wait for words that will echo in their hearts and minds long beyond today.
And there was question about, okay, well, how long is this jury going to deliberate for? That was the question this morning. We were wondering, right? Because this was kind of their first time really talking to each other about what the evidence that was presented to them, right? So this is their first time, saying, well, I thought this, or I thought that, or what did you make of this? And so really for them to come to a conclusion, to come to a decision within 3 hours of deliberating, I thought, okay, that's fairly soon. Maybe we'll expect it later this evening or tomorrow, but it sounds like they have come to a consensus.
Sure, and really there's no formula for how juries work. Over my years, I've had an opportunity to interview a number of jurors. Oftentimes, they'll return to the jury room and immediately take a vote to find out where they are in the room. And then they start working through evidence or questions or talking out loud amongst themselves from there to see which way they move, if they move at all. So we don't know where they started, but we do know starting the deliberations at 10:52 and then getting word when we did a little after 1, I guess, that they reached a verdict. They weren't too far apart, whichever direction they're in. And they weren't too far apart. It didn't take that much longer to get there. So we'll see if any of the jurors talk.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? What is going on? I'll be right back.
It is 2:22 now, and we are waiting for the verdict to be announced in the Karmelo Anthony murder trial in Collin County.
That's right. The jury was able to consider manslaughter as a lesser charge. Initially, Karmelo Anthony was facing a first-degree murder charge. So now is this manslaughter or is this first-degree? Manslaughter implies that this was just a reckless killing that kind of, in that spur of the moment, in fear maybe of his safety, he felt that he was in danger and he decided to defend himself. That is what the defense is arguing. Murder includes the intent. Was this intentional? Did he mean to do this? There were some people who asked the question of why did he bring a knife to a track meet? And there were some more details that were brought out about that knife.
So let me interject this. Lori Brown is in the courtroom and she is able to send out messages. And she is saying to us now that the attorneys are talking to the family members. And she believes that the attorneys are preparing the family members of the victims' families, the defendants' families, not to react to whatever that verdict might be. Judges don't like emotional outbursts in the courtroom, and it's important that families try and contain themselves. That's not easy. It's not easy, but that's probably what's happening now. And she says Karmelo Anthony, she believes, has his head down. She can't see his face. He's looking down. You might imagine, again, as I mentioned, sweaty palms, heart is racing, breath is short, because lives are in the balance.
It's a heart-pounding moment and kind of in limbo, waiting to find out what the verdict is. It looks like we have someone joining us on Zoom, Russell Wilson. Russell, thank you for joining us here. We are waiting for that verdict to be announced. What do you make of the fact that, the jury has been deliberated for 3 hours. So they reached a decision just before 2 o'clock. Just in your experience, what do you make of them coming to this decision fairly soon?
I think, it would be consistent with there not being much disagreement among the 12 jurors. It wouldn't necessarily take very long to resolve those disagreements. And so I think it was really kind of a narrow issue, if you will. There wasn't really a doubt about, who done it and how it happened or any of those types of things. And so perhaps based off of what they heard, jurors had a strong feeling one way or another. Eventually that came to a unanimous verdict.
Russell, it's Sean. Let's go in on what the two narrow really questions are. Narrow questions.
Oh, it was muted. Hey,
I think
what's going on, everybody?
Would have been did they believe this
Hope
was murder
everybody's
or
good. I decided to
manslaughter?
go live,
And
and what
then
we're
if
going
they
to do is
did
we're going to
believe
check
that
out
it
some
was
different
either one of those crimes,
broadcasts. All right.
did they believe that it was justified, um, and that, viewed from the standpoint of Carmelo Anthony? And they had
Yeah, I had to get the
throughout
work
the
hat
trial
on.
extensive testimony
Had to get the work hat
regarding
on.
really an incident that took place, very quickly in a matter of seconds. And so when they're sitting there as jurors, even though they're not deliberating, they
So Cali,
themselves are
yes,
forming at least
send
individual
me some
opinions
stuff.
regarding the
The
evidence.
Dodgers have
And
this little
so the first time that you actually deliberate as a whole,
they have this like barrel cup. It's like it looks like a little barrel actually, like a beer keg. And you can only get it at the Dodger Stadium.
through to one way or another regarding how you
See
feel
how many people
about
we got in here
the
today
case.
right now.
And
Let's
then the
look.
judge provides the law, and the law then either affirms what your thoughts are.
So what do you
And so
guys
I
think?
think that was probably what was happening here. Again, in the scope of issues that cases could have, even though this is a nationally
You
watched
guys,
case,
the
the issues are
poll
kind of narrow.
Right.
is
And
close.
you've
The
talked to many
poll
of your
is
jurors, both as a prosecutor and
close.
defense attorney. Do you find they retire to that jury room and, Russell, they kind of do a straw
Thank you
poll to
so
see
much, Janice.
where they
Thank
are
you.
on guilt or innocence, and then they
Guys,
start
the
really
poll is
deliberating and
neck
look at facts or
and
evidence
neck.
or revisit testimony from that point forward, if need be?
Right. Yeah. I think usually the first thing they do is select a four-person, and then they usually talk about that. They maybe spend time going back over the jury instructions again, which wouldn't take very long. And then if you take a straw poll or a vote and
There
you
you go.
see
There's
where
my
people
email,
are
so
at on
Callie.
issues, and then you may ask a person why they felt this way or that way. And then if their recollection of events is different, or the reason that they feel one way or another
Wow.
is different, somebody
Manslaughter is
may
at
point out
49. It
something in the
keeps
law
teetering. You
or
guys,
something in the
manslaughter
evidence that might cause the
48
person
to
to view it a
50%.
different way. And that's kind of how
48 to
deliberations
50%
proceed. And
manslaughter right now.
there's usually a few folks that
Wow, you
we would
guys are really like,
characterize as
it's really
followers,
like,
meaning
a
that
toss
they,
up between
based off of their
manslaughter or the M
disposition, are more
charge.
likely to follow a person who's firm in their
See,
belief.
Belly on it says not
And
guilty. So you think not guilty of
that
anything,
usually,
like he's
is how
completely innocent? You think not
deliberations
guilty?
proceed.
And everybody,
There's
let
a
me pause
person
this
or
real quick.
persons
Let me
that are
pause this.
firm.
So please, I must tell everybody, please, everybody has their own opinions, all right? So don't bash the next person for their own opinion. Like if somebody has an opinion, I will ask them if they can explain, or whatnot. And that way we can understand maybe where they're coming from, and you might not agree with them. Maybe you will. But so I want to, throw that out there. So Belly says not guilty. I want to see why you say not guilty. Wolf Moon says manslaughter. Just Andreas says this was quick. This was really quick. How many of you guys thought the verdict was going to take a couple days? Put ones in the chat if you thought the verdict was going to take more than one day. Because today is when it started today, right? Did it start today? Yeah, put one in the chat if you think the verdict was going to be more than one day. Looking at some other feeds here.
determines guilt or innocence, that would determine the sentence. That is something that Karmelo Anthony requested. He had the option of having the judge determine a sentence or the jury. He opted for the jury. So at this point,
all right, so
both
yes,
sides will once again have the option to
most of you
present
guys thought it was
witnesses.
going to be more than one day.
Yes, if this is a conviction, if Karmelo Anthony is found guilty, the defense would be able to present evidence.
You're surrounded by people bigger than you and yelling at you, crashing out. Why are they yelling at you?
Give him 5 years as opposed to 99 years.
Why are they yelling
So
at you,
we could
Tail?
hear some testimony or not. In some cases, the sentencing phase really is just another round of arguments, another round of.
Rebecca says,
closing
as
arguments on both sides.
athletes, they have to sign.
It could go.
Let me
it
pause
could go
real
either way.
quick.
Those are the options. Yeah.
Interesting point that Rebecca brings up right here. Let's see.
We've got JD Miles.
As athletes, they have to sign an agreement to behave appropriately and not to bring weapons to any sporting event or school. He broke those honors and rules. I'm trying to think, when I played sports, did I have to sign anything? Now, common sense, yeah, you're not supposed to bring any of these weapons on school grounds. We do know that. But I'm trying to remember if I had to sign anything. I don't think I did. This is
Andrea, you can't see this, but we're on
it
a split
is a
screen right
tough
now.
one.
We have
Actually,
live
let me
aerial
Google something
footage,
real quick, 'cause
video coming in from
she
outside
brought
the
up a
courthouse,
great
where it
point.
seems
Let me
that
see.
security looks to be beefing up. It looks like we've got more law enforcement
Let me
boots on the
see
ground, sort of standing shoulder by shoulder. Some more.
So the
police
coach
cruisers.
testified to
From
signing
what
it.
you can
Now,
see,
did all
do you
the
also get that same sense from what we're seeing from the aerial?
so the coach testified. Did all the students have to sign it too? So did all the students sign? Yeah, actually, so it says right here. It says, in trial of Karmelo Anthony, accused of fatal 2025 stabbing of Austin Metcalf, witness testimony revealed that athletes were required to sign a registration in rule form. Anthony signed his form, which listed the rules and guidelines for the high school track meet where the incident took place. Interesting. So I did not know that part. Now the question here's, hate to say it, but the question is, did when these kids signed this, did they actually read the rules? It's like the terms and conditions for your iTunes or your Apple. Remember back in the day when your Apple iTunes used to always update and they give you the terms and conditions, you never read it, you just press accept. Never read it. That's still no excuse though. No excuse. It's like somebody who signs for a car loan and their interest rate's 30%. Then later on you want to complain. Oh, I didn't know my interest rate. Well, you signed it. So I definitely get that. So yeah, they did sign the form. I wonder if they have a copy of this form online.
Took place back in April of 2025 at a track meet in Frisco. And again, Andrea, it looks like folks we're getting images here. Folks are just hearing this. We're seeing what appears to be two women crying on the ground right now.
Yep, you're definitely seeing the reaction to the word coming out. A lot of the people that you're seeing, I would say there are more people here who have been supporting Karmelo Anthony than the opposite. So you're seeing their reaction.
So he is
I also saw somebody
guilty,
just
guys.
run
They
down
found
the
him
courthouse
guilty.
step, presumably to share the news of what they heard and
They
saw.
found him
And
guilty.
you're starting to see people have started to relax a bit now. You're seeing some commotion. You're seeing movement. And security, again, positioned right there. You've got McKinney.
Andrea, we got
Guilty of
we got
MURDR. They found him guilty.
Inside the courtroom, and his parents walked out soon after this happened. So a lot going on inside that unfortunately we are not allowed to have video cameras or recording devices inside. But this is information that's coming to us from our crews that are positioned inside, who have access to a phone or computer.
Wow.
Us that Karmelo
So he was
Anthony,
found guilty.
Had a visible and physical breakdown inside that courtroom when the guilty verdict was read.
Now, to be
and his
honest
parents
with you,
immediately walked out.
I
I'm
thought
not
maybe
sure if
he
you're
would have been
hearing that
found
as well.
guilty of
But
manslaughter. That's what
we are
I
seeing
thought.
outside right now,
He would have been guilty
from
of
the crowds
manslaughter.
that have
Yeah, they
gathered there,
found him
presumably
guilty of
supporters who were hoping
the
for a
worst
different verdict,
one.
also breaking
I didn't
down
think
in
they were going to
tears,
find him innocent.
and
No,
sort of
that I
consoling
knew was a
themselves
far fetch.
on
He
the
wasn't
ground out
walking
there.
home today.
Again,
But I
as
thought
Karmelo
manslaughter
Anthony,
was what he was going to get.
right now found guilty of first-degree murder in the stabbing death of Austin Metcalf. Are you hearing anything else, seeing anything else out there, Andrea, as this news continues to spread?
I'm seeing the reaction. Everybody's kind of consolidating around. I think you said you saw two women fall to the
Said
ground.
the
We have a
twins'
camera
father
up
is
there,
friends with the
capturing
DA.
the
I
reaction,
did see
and
that
we're waiting for
somewhere. I
JD
did
Miles
see
to step
that.
outside.
You would think
But
that would
as
have been
you
a conflict
mentioned,
of
he
interest,
has
right? You would have
communicated
think
Karmelo
that
Anthony broke
the
down in
defense
tears,
would have said something about
and you
that to
could
the
hear,
judge. You would think.
that just inside the courtroom, everyone sitting there could hear his cries. His parents did walk out. A judge informed Anthony that his bond has been extinguished, that he will now go into the custody of the Collin County Sheriff's Office. So he will be incarcerated.
Let me see if there's any other.
We just got word of that as well. And so the sentencing phase, this is going to start at some point soon here.
I'm going to float around some channels.
The guilty verdict on the charge of murder, Andrea.
I'm going to float around some channels to see what, everybody's saying. I'm going to try and get some, I'm going to go to some streamer channels too that is actually right there on the ground.
5 to 99 years. And that now becomes the focus of both sides, right? We're going to hear
5
from
to
the prosecution
99
likely,
years.
To go on the longer side of that, we're going to hear from the defense to aim for the.
Guys, did you hear that? You see how wide of a range? Did she just say 5 to 99 years?
Reasons that the jury should go toward a more lenient sentence, and the prosecution has a chance to present witnesses that would present the argument that we should be tough on, that the jury should be tough on Karmelo Anthony. So we may see those witnesses, or they may go directly to arguments and put this back to the jury again. But once again, we're going to see a case presented to the jury. The jury's going to go out.
Saul said his defense was horrible. What happened to all the GoFundMe money?
Focus on what that sentence should be, and it could land anywhere between that 5 to 99-year range.
Right. We understand that Karmelo Anthony has been removed from the courtroom as well now, taken into the custody, remanded into the custody of local authorities, the sheriff's office as well, so that he's been removed from the courtroom. And again, Andrea, as you mentioned, this was well before 4 o'clock that this verdict came in. So I'm assuming all intentions right now are to pivot into that sentencing phase. How long that could take, we don't know at this point, right? You said it could be very short. It could just be something very quick, or it could be something where they
5 to 99 years is what he's looking at now. That is
something that might potentially look like a whole other trial.
Wow, what a range!
What it is the sentencing phase, right? That's how that works.
What a range.
The fact that he's been taken out of the courtroom signals to me that they're probably going to take a little bit of a break. With this judge, though, those breaks have been short. Sometimes it's a 15-minute bathroom break or something of that end. So they may take a short break, and then we have
well. How many of you guys agree
so that's when we're going to find
with
out.
this verdict? It looks like most of you guys are not agreeing with what just went down. Is there anybody in here?
From them. If not, they'll go straight to their.
Let me pause her. Is there anybody in here that thought maybe he would be guilty of manslaughter, not, first degree but just manslaughter? Is there anybody in here that thought that?
We're keeping a real close eye on all the movement that's happening inside as best as we can, right, without being able to see it ourselves. But out there, we can tell you from the live video that we're seeing from the helicopter, there seems to be a lot of movement there on the ground.
Agrees with the verdict. And don't bash anybody because, you know, that's their opinion, what they agree with.
That, Ken, is the kind of reaction, because we know that this is
because we're people and we all have different opinions, right? And we all can look at this differently.
Absolute extremes, you know, the people who absolutely were convinced that he was guilty of murder, and then the people who say
so
it was
Georgia thinks,
and I'm curious as to the reaction.
Georgia thinks manslaughter. I was thinking manslaughter. I was thinking that he would get found. I mean, we all knew he wasn't going to walk. I mean, come on now, guys. Let's face reality. We knew that he was not going to walk. They were not going to find this kid innocent. But I thought that maybe he would get manslaughter. And even the poll, you guys were neck and neck. It was like 49-50. It was crazy. So it was crazy. Let's see what the results of the poll was. Manslaughter. Okay, the results of the poll, let me see. Manslaughter won 43%. Okay. First degree was 40%. And then 17% of you guys said not guilty. All right, let's do a new one. Yeah, you guys, it was neck and neck. It was neck and neck, you guys. Look at that. Manslaughter, you guys voted 43% manslaughter, 40% first degree, and then 17% not is what you guys did. How long did it take the jury to deliberate? Like 2 hours, I think. It was not long at all.
Right there. And so we do have another crew up front. They are talking to people who are up there getting their reaction, but I think everybody is aware that this isn't over. We still have sentencing, and you know, as you mentioned, with such a wide range, it's going to be a big difference depending on whether we see a 5-year sentence, a 99-year sentence, or
and all this was over nonsense, man. All of this was over
the
nonsense.
Defendants, they have a choice, right, to have either a judge offer the sentence or a jury offer that sentence if they're found guilty. In this case, Karmelo Anthony has been found guilty of murder. You said earlier that he had opted for a jury, right, to offer.
He did. He chose to have the jury determine his sentence. Presumably, he felt like a jury would be more sympathetic than the judge in his circumstances. And so that's what we're going to see take place now, that it will be.
So he had the option in this state, just jurisdiction, to choose who decides his outcome, the sentence, okay? The judge or the 12 members of the jury. The defense decided the 12 members of the jury. Do we think that was a smart move on their behalf? Now, the jury only took 3 hours to find him guilty of first degree. So do you think the jury already is back there saying, hey, yeah, 99 years? Because I think they said 5 to 99 years.
term, right? So, Andrea, and I know that you guys had discussed this earlier, for folks out there who might just be tuning in, remind folks what the next step is. He's been found guilty now of murder, and next is the deliberation to determine the sentence. Is that beginning immediately? Is that something, I know that the judge has just ordered a short break.
This just happened.
Right. So is this, they're going to resume the deliberations now? Because ordinarily,
yeah, if there was a conflict of interest,
reached a verdict,
I've been, so you guys know, I've been through the court system. I had a conflict of interest with one of my attorneys one time, and it has to get brought up to the judge. So the defense has to bring that up to the judge.
Yep,
if the defense doesn't bring that up to the judge and file a motion for that, there's nothing that gets done.
JD's mentioned through our communication, a short break, and then when they come back, that will be the start of sentencing, and that's where we're going to see really what's going to happen. It's unclear how long it could go. Depends on how many witnesses they produce.
Hey, Sunshine Lady, yes, the Juice and Alex, they did get bonded out. They did get bonded out. They got bonded out, so they get
we could see testimony.
Cheer for that. They got bonded out. I'm actually going to do a follow-up video on that situation. I'm going to look at the bylaws and that HOA, and I'm going to look at a bunch of things.
Back in deliberations before the end of the day. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I do know that we should learn very shortly which way it's going to go.
The jury, by the way, has just been instructed to come back into the courtroom. So, Andrea, this is all moving really fast, quite honestly. I mean,
This is how old is Karmelo? How old is he? I never knew his age. I know he's young. Karmelo Anthony. What is his age? So right now he is 19 years old. Wow. This happened when he was 17. 19 years old.
This one doesn't give us that long. Some of them have longer breaks throughout the day. He's kept his break short. He had the jury come back and the attorneys come back on Saturday, and we heard testimony this past Saturday, whereas some judges take the break for the weekend, completely reasonable. But that is how this judge happens to work. And then on top of that, you have the jury that came to a quick determination, and that is completely within the hands of the jury.
Is so.
Had days if
yeah,
they wanted
17
to,
when it happened.
Necessary to deliberate. In this case, they had less than 3 hours. So I think part of the reason that this is happening so quickly, that this is moving along so quickly, is because of the judge.
It's an unfortunate situation that the other kid's life got taken away. And like I said, over all of this, over what? Over what? I guarantee you, Karmelo is going to go to his cell tonight. I guarantee you he's going to go to his cell tonight and wish and contemplate and think about what he could have done better, that maybe he shouldn't have went in the tent, or maybe he shouldn't have pulled out the knife, maybe just used his fist to maybe fight if they were going to fight. You know, I'm pretty sure that he's going to be sitting in his jail cell tonight, contemplating and rethinking, and not just tonight, he's going to be doing that for years, rethinking what he could have did better. And he's going to relive that situation, just like the parents of the other kid. They're always going to rethink every day what happened at the track meet to their kid. Their kid was killed at the track meet by another athlete, you know, and all over what? Just complete nonsense, man. Kids nowadays do not value life.
But if it's any indicator of how fast this could go, this entire trial really leading up to today, and the deliberations have all been pretty fast.
So he's saying, and again, probably because this has moved so quickly, that the prosecution and the defense have decided to waive opening statements.
Okay, so they're waiving that.
Yeah, and he says the prosecution has rested, and the defense is calling its first witness.
Okay, so I mean, this is changing by the minute. It's changing. So Karmelo Anthony's mother, I'm assuming?
Yes, they're bringing in, Kayla Hayes, his mother, is going to be the first one up there for the defense. And well, let's go back out to our Andrea Lucia now.
Yeah, Tina Marie, one bad decision ruins your whole life.
In the crowd getting very upset, and some people were very, very happy. You know, we're seeing a lot of both emotions on both sides.
This was expected. I don't think anyone thought that, you know, however this would have turned out, that this was going to be something that people would just quietly go home after a verdict was read. I think both sides proved that they had very
all right, Lisa, you have a good day, all right? Thanks for checking in.
One way or another about this case, and I think all of the elements were there to have this kind of a reaction. We just didn't know what side it was going to come from. But
original
that law
digital oracle,
has also been monitoring.
Yes,
as well.
I mean,
explains some of the details that Andrea was giving us.
You have two
from
lives
the
gone now. Two,
law enforcement,
not just one,
the barricading that's going on, and quite frankly, even the limited access that they gave us, members of the media. They didn't allow any cameras inside. They allow some members of the media. It's limited, but all they can do is report back, meaning they got to get on a phone, on a laptop, and let us know
Tanya
what's going on.
says schools need to start letting children see what it's like behind bars when I was in school.
This profile,
you know what? That is a, you know what?
We do have eyes and ears inside the courtroom, but that's not the case
I
right
agree with that. I agree with that. You know how our kids take field trips? They want to give them field trips, right? When they're in high school, middle school, even elementary. I think once they reach high school, 9th, 10th grade, they should start taking field trips to the penitentiary. They should start taking field trips, okay? They should take a field trip one day to the county jail so they can see what it is when you first get arrested, and they can see the people that are actually waiting to see what happens with their trial or their case. And they can see these people waiting, because when you're in county jail waiting on what's going to happen, you have no control. You're just waiting. And that is the worst part. Then they should do another field trip of, after you get convicted, the people that go to prison. They should definitely do things like that. I agree.
That because of prior court cases, some very notable prior court cases where they just says it's just not a good idea to allow cameras in the courtroom. And Kayla Hayes, Karmelo's mother, is on the stand right now, you know, reminding the jury. She says, he is my oldest, he's my firstborn, he will always be my baby, I love him very much. Yes, he's very sorry for what he did. And you know, and we knew that when this happened a year ago, that that lives, you know, just with one probably impulsive act, lives were going to be forever changed. And I mean, certainly Austin Metcalf's and his family, but also this young man who there's no happy ending for anyone.
Here's a reality of what happens next. Karmelo Anthony had opted that if, in the event that he would be found guilty, which he has been, that a jury would determine his sentence.
Right.
So here's what the jury's looking at right now. They're looking at sentencing guidelines by the state of Texas between 5 to 99 years. My goodness, 5 to 99 years.
Right.
I mean, that is that's such a wide range. Obviously, the defense is now going to try and make a case to argue for on the lesser side of things. Where that falls in between that range, who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I mean, he's 19 years old.
Right.
He was 17 when this happened, and now he's looking at a sentence of somewhere between 5 to 99 years. That's the other thing that the jury's going to have to try and figure out. And I don't know how long it's going to take them for them to make that determination.
of everything.
Yeah. You said that you didn't know if it was going to become physical. You didn't know if it was going to get violent. Did you actually see, I guess, beyond the pushing, did you, was that the extent of any kind of violence that you saw?
Yes, it didn't get physical. It's just a lot of screaming.
Can you guys hear me now? You guys hear me now? I think you can hear me now. My mic got unplugged. I had to reset my mic. I think you can hear me now. Let me know if you can hear me now.
We approached a woman that was visibly upset and asked her if she wanted to interview. And
Great.
She turned
Sorry
on
about
us,
that, guys. I
and
had to reset my mic. It went out.
I was worried that that was going to get physical.
Technical issues.
Like I said, people are.
All right. I was explaining this person HQ that you see. I have the comment right here. Jumped into my live. I've never ever spoke to this person before, but they jumped into my live a while ago. Okay. I don't remember which live it was, but they jumped into it. And HQ, just like you see right here, asked me, said, Ray, I am being pressured by some cousins to join a gang. And they were saying how one of their family members died. And I told them at that time, I said, even if they're family members, but not just because they're family doesn't mean they're going to be by your side. It doesn't mean they're good to you. And I told them, I didn't beat around the bush. I said that it doesn't sound like these family members are being good to you. And at that time, HQ was in high school. And I told them, I said, graduate. And once you graduate, if you cannot make it out of your situation and separate yourself from these people, I said, at least join the military. That's a way for you at least to get out. Even if it's not the whole time, at least just for 4 years. Sign up for 4 years. That way you're young, you can get out. You can get, if you don't like it, you can get out by the time you're 22, 23 and still live life and do what you want to do. And this person took my advice. So, congratulations, HQ. I'm proud of you.
Reaction right now, not just from where you are there on the ground, Andrea, but now getting text messages and just messages from other people in the legal community throughout North Texas who've also been following this. And I just want to put this out there because some of the things that people are referring to, they're saying that he was overcharged, that maybe manslaughter would have been more of an appropriate charge. Obviously, you're not in a position to say one way or another because we're just reporting on it. But I want people to know that these are some of the things that the legal community
almost made me emotional right there.
That perhaps this sets up a pretty significant appeal for the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. And the word gerrymandering is being is used a lot. I don't know if you've heard it throughout the coverage of this, Andrea, because we know that from the very beginning there was an issue with the fact that there were no black people seated on this jury. We know that race played a key role.
We should say that there are a lot of people of color on this jury panel, none of them African American.
African American, exactly. But that word seems to be, I heard it a lot in the early stages of this trial, and it seems to be coming up again.
Let's see if there's anything going on in the actual ground. Well, I mean, that was
certainly the opinion of the defense they put out there. They actually wanted another lesser trial. Homicide, but they were denied that by the judge. So it did seem like the defense was really hoping to convince the jury to, if they were going to find him guilty, to aim for a lesser charge. And they were perhaps hoping that maybe the jury would opt for one of those lesser charges. I will say, Collin County in general has a bit of a reputation for having tough juries.
Anybody on the ground.
So there's that sense. The judges are that might come to play into that sense. I don't know if it's true.
Right. No, and then that would be something for a court of appeals to take on. But you know, again, when we were talking to criminologist Dr. Alex Del Carmen, who was providing some very valuable insight into all of this, you know, he said if I had to bet, he was leaning towards a manslaughter charge. I think he was equally surprised at the fact that this came back as murder, because he was thinking, you know, based on the facts that we know surrounding the case, the speed at which the verdict came back, he was thinking if he had to bet, he said it right here on the air, if I had to bet.
Okay, if somebody pulls a gun on you, what are you gonna do? No. You're gonna pull your gun and respond. Listen, wait. And I got a question. Is this not a steal? Okay, yeah, sure. That means it's not required for you to flee. But that wasn't stand your ground. That was not stand your ground. I understand that. But that's what I'm saying. He's saying that you have to. If you believe that you gotta go by the law, you gotta know the law. Karmelo broke the law, right or wrong? He just.
Yes, Sunshine, you are correct. You are correct. Thank you.
The problem is that so you didn't mean you have to meet force. Nobody really know what happened. You have to meet force.
This right now is right outside the courtroom. This is live outside the courtroom.
Some people said he did. Some people said he got. Some people said he got pushed. Some people said it was 4 up. Some said it was 2 up. At the end of the day, we as people, Austin should have walked away, or Karmelo should have walked away. Both of them. Neither one of them. Let me say this. Let me say this. That's why we're here. And that's why we're here. Our young men to stop provoking each other. Yeah. Whether you're white or black. Yeah. Get the fuck out of his face and move the fuck on. Do you want to die? Do you want to go to jail? No. Leave him the fuck alone. What we said. Who would get out? This is what I understand. Why would he get way to 12th grade? Well, you want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? So why the kids?
Yeah, black people starting to argue amongst each other now. Now niggas arguing amongst each other out here.
So this is a live from Just Say No.
Now black people arguing amongst each other out here.
Live from Just Say No.
I need like some gas, man. I need like some gas up, nigga. Yeah, this shit, yeah. I got like the gas up. Niggas arguing amongst niggas now. Shit crazy.
So you should have known your parents should have told you what you said. It don't matter.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Everybody arguing amongst each other now. Shit crazy, man.
Hey, Ray, thank you. Thank you so much, all right? You take care of yourself.
They say they finna finish
Much
him
love
right
to
now.
Scotland.
They say they finna finish him. I don't know if they gonna finish him or not. What happened with the sentence? They say they supposed to finish him today. I'm not sure if they gonna finish him or not.
I wish his video feed was better. His video feed's not the greatest. Let's see if I can find anybody else. Yeah, his video feed was not the best, but as you see, people are out there arguing right now. This is from JLR. Hey, how many of you guys were around or alive and old enough to remember what was the riots? The LA riots?
All right, so
wasn't that over Rodney King? Was it Rodney King? Was it over Rodney King? When the riots happened in LA?
I'm mic'd up. I'm mic'd up with ABC, local affiliate, mic'd me up on their mic.
That's where that little argument's taking place, right there where you see that circle. Where you see that circle, that's where the argument's taking place.
I'm gonna wait here and see anything pops off. When does he get sentenced?
Yes, Rodney King. I hope it doesn't get that bad. I hope it doesn't get that, I hope it doesn't get like that. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am going to be honest. Which I never understood. I'll be honest with you guys. You know what I didn't understand? I was a kid watching that. So when the whole Rodney King thing happened, I was a kid. Maybe, I don't know, how old was I? Maybe 11, 10 years old? I don't remember. But you know the question I did have when all that happened? Because I grew up in Los Angeles, so our family, we were right there. And I remember watching it on the news because my mom wouldn't let me go outside. And I asked my mom, I said, why are we burning down our own things? I said, Mom, I was 11 years old, or I can't remember, but I said, Mom, why are we burning down our own things? I never, ever to this day understood that. Why are we burning down our own things? It's not like the riots, they got mad and they went to, the police headquarters and tried to burn down them, or went to Beverly Hills and tried to burn down the rich people. No, we were burning down our own property, looting our own stores. I was a kid and I was asking those questions like, why? What did the man at the corner store do? What did the man at the corner store do in order for people to break into his corner store and start looting and steal everything from him? He didn't beat Rodney King. He wasn't even there. So as a kid watching this on the news, I always had, and growing up, and I'm a grown man now, and I still have that question. What does burning down, starting riots in your own town, your own city, what does that do? Nothing. It hurts you more than anything else. It hurts you. Your insurance goes up higher now. Yeah, I never understood that. I was like, everybody's mad at the police. And I'm not saying go out and cause any crimes against them. I'm not saying that whatsoever. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying go out and cause anything. But if you're mad at them, then why don't you go take your energy out on them? Not at Ali that owns the corner store that sometimes gives me a free Slurpee.
Huh? Is that fake news?
What do you think?
I'm asking you.
What do you think?
I don't know what I think.
What do you think, Jake?
I don't know the whole story. I'm asking you.
So where are you from?
I'm from here.
What's your last name?
I'm just asking you a question, dude. It's just like...
Tell me about your life.
It's just
where
like
where were you born?
No, I'm asking you if
where were you? I'm asking you where were you born?
You were accused of beating
I'm asking you where you were born.
Potential strangler. I just saw a news report, so I'm just asking.
Okay.
I just happened to see, because I saw your shirt over there, and I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. Okay. So I just happened to like...
All right, cool.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Love it.
Buckets, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Well, Rocco, yeah.
Tell me about yourself.
Yeah, no, I was just asking a question. So, like,
tell me about you.
You beating strangler, or is that
Tell me
fake?
about yourself.
No, I'm just asking. Can you, like...
I'm not going to answer your questions.
So you can't tell me if it's fake or not?
Why would I answer your questions?
Because I'm just asking you a question.
Okay, I don't want to talk about that.
All right. So why can't you just, like, say it's fake or not?
Are you deaf?
I'm just asking.
Are you deaf?
All I need is an answer.
Are you deaf?
No, obviously I'm not
Tell
deaf.
me about yourself, Jake.
Don't worry about it. I'm just asking a
question. Well, I'm
question.
going to find out who you are.
You can.
I will.
Go ahead.
I will.
That's okay.
I will.
Hi.
I will, Jake.
Why are you shaking? Why are you shaking?
Huh? Oh, so what? You gotta come up and say I'm shaking, but then I'm going.
Yo,
what?
you're just shaking. I don't know. All I did was ask a question.
Huh?
All I did was ask a question.
But you keep asking questions.
Because you won't answer it.
I just said I don't want to talk about it. That's your answer.
That's my answer?
That's your answer.
It's
Jake.
really like a non-answer.
That's your answer. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about your personal life.
Well,
I can't wait to share your personal life on the internet, Jake. I can't wait to share your personal life.
It's just public reports.
Okay, I can't wait to share your personal life.
You can if you want.
I am.
That's fine.
I am. Thanks for the permission, Jake.
Sure.
Thank you.
It's the
Thank you
internet.
for the permission, Jake.
I'm just saying.
We have 12,000 people watching, Jake.
That's fine. Just
All right,
lower.
so where are you from?
Listen, hold on. Let's take a breath for a second. Lower your cortisol levels for a second.
Okay.
Let's just take a breath.
You're up to me.
No, all I did was come up and ask a question.
And I told you I don't want to talk about that.
Wow.
Okay.
We're watching this live right now.
Jake,
fake or not fake?
Wow.
Jake, I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, because you're live?
Huh?
Do you want to stop live so they can just tell me?
So talk about your personal life.
I don't
How many
need to talk-
girlfriends have you had? Have you ever been accused of beating a girl?
Huh?
Have you ever been accused of
I've
beating
never
a
laid
girl?
my hands on a female.
You never laid your hands on a female?
Absolutely not.
Will all the females say that?
Fine. I'm just asking a question.
I know, Jake.
Who's this guy? You guys know who this guy is?
You're asking, you sound like a broken record, Jake.
Jake,
just asking
is
questions.
Jake a
sounding like a
streamer? You guys
broken
know?
record.
Okay.
So, Jake, I'm going to find out who you are.
And you sound like someone who can't
I'm not
answer questions.
shaking. I'm not shaking.
All right, well.
All right, Jake,
All I
take
said
it
was,
easy, Jake.
for the record,
Jake,
all I
take
said
it
was
easy,
I
Jake.
saw a public report. I just recognize him. I can't.
Take it easy, Jake. Have a good day, Jake. Have a good day, Jake.
Yeah, I got tattoos.
Okay, yeah, you got tattoos. Yeah.
There we go.
So what's your last name?
Don't worry about it.
How many girlfriends have you had in your life?
How is that relevant?
Why is it not relevant? I'm just asking you questions.
At least I didn't
Tell
be
me
my
about your mom and
girlfriend,
dad. Oh, so you think I did something?
That's why I'm asking.
But you just said
No,
it
not
as a statement of
JLR.
fact.
No,
I'm
I said it
talking
as a
about the
question.
guy with
Tell
the
me about your
glasses
mom
right
and dad.
here.
You got a mom?
I think he's a
Of course I have.
streamer. He's
Do you
got
have a mom?
streaming
Yeah.
equipment.
Oh,
in his
okay.
hand.
What's your mom's
cool.
name?
What's your
Jake
mom's
needs to kick
Donna?
rocks.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's your
who's
mom's
Jake?
name?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, so don't worry.
never
You
heard
ask
of
me
this
stuff
guy.
about my personal life, but I can't ask you about your.
Are you
My
in-
mother's name is Donna. My
are you
father's
in-
name is Tim. What's
Are
your
you
dad's
in? Are
name?
you in .5? Or are you?
What's your dad's name?
It'd be funny if it was in .5.
Jake, you're asking me stuff about my personal
You're
life.
shaking, dude. All I asked was a question.
I'm not shaking. He's not shaking. No, you're just making things
come
up,
here,
Jake. You're just making things up, Jake. I'm
All right.
holding my camera.
Well, look, all I did was ask a
Is this
question.
Nerd Addict?
That's what it
Actually,
is.
is
Well,
this
I'm asking you
Nerd
questions.
Addict?
Yeah, I
So
don't
I'm
need
gonna
to
walk
answer
you to your car and ask you questions.
Well,
all right, we're gonna play.
Nerdy Addict or whatever
I
on,
actually- Yeah.
You're lying.
Is this
No,
Nerdy
seriously,
Addict?
walk.
Yeah, you're
Now
lying.
that I
No, I'm
think about
serious.
it.
So tell me about your mom and dad. Tell me about your personal life. How many girlfriends you had in your life?
Doesn't. How is that relevant?
How many girlfriends you have?
Sorry,
in your life?
cable guy.
How's my life relevant to you?
Well, I'm just asking a question.
How's my life relevant to you?
Well, you're a public guy.
So tell me, well, are you a public guy?
No,
You're not.
I'm just here because I thought this
You're
was
just a
interesting.
private citizen, right? Jake?
Kind of, yeah. Well, I guess
Jake,
I'm
Okay, no, it's not
private
him.
citizen,
I
right?
don't think it's him.
Well,
Somebody
Tell
just
me,
thought
how
it
many
was him.
girlfriends
Thought
have
it
you
was
had in
Nerd
your
Addict.
life? Have you ever been accused of hitting a girl?
No, have you?
Have you ever been accused of touching kids?
Absolutely
I'll
not.
personally give you my opinion. You look like you touch kids.
I
Yes,
look
you
like
do. You
Dude,
look like
you're
you touch-
shaking.
you
You're
look like
literally
you
shaking.
You look like you touch kids.
Okay,
You look.
whatever.
Look, you do. You look
All
like
right.
you touch kids.
I definitely do
look
not.
like
I want to know who
touch
this
kids.
guy
You
is.
look like
Who's
you-
Jake?
I know.
Sorry, you're shaking.
Because he's got streaming equipment in his hand.
Okay,
I know,
see,
Jake.
that-
You
there's
look like
the
you
answer.
touch kids.
There's the answer.
You
Well,
look
actually,
like you
we're all
touch
here.
kids,
We're all here
Jake.
on
We're
the
gonna
same-
find out.
Okay.
We're gonna find out who you are.
guilty before the jury came out.
What was that?
Jake, how many
Hold on,
kids have
hold
you
on, hold on.
touched, Jake?
Hold on. Here.
So tell me about your personal life, Jake. Tell me about your personal life,
Did you
Jake.
say anybody in this case was
Fuck you.
innocent or guilty?
I've had no public opinion on this case. I've never.
Then why are you here?
Because like I said before, I thought it was interesting. I will, but I'm just saying, I thought it was interesting. All right, well, I was answering your question. All right, you have a
I've
good day.
never
So what's
ever
your mom's
met
name?
JLR in my life.
Yeah,
ever,
what's your mom's
but
name?
we do live
What's your mom's
about an
name?
hour
Mom's
away
name?
from each
Yeah.
other. We do
Mom?
live an hour away
Your
from
mom's
each other.
name's
I've
Mom,
never met
huh?
him.
Yeah, what's your mom's name?
Huh?
What's your mom's
Donna.
name? Donna?
What's your mom's name?
What about it?
What about your mom?
What is it relevant?
What about your mom? What's your mom do for a living?
I was just asking a question about.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I was just
What do
asking
you
a
do
question
for a
about
living?
public.
What do you
the
do
public
for a living?
reports.
Huh? What do
I
you
was
do
just
for a
asking a
living?
question about public.
So why are you
reports.
saying I'm shaking?
Because you were. Look at you are right now.
I'm
Look,
shaking
look.
But I'm walking with. I'm walking
Yeah, so
with.
who is this guy?
Like,
I know.
Jake
We got
had to talk to
14,000
something
people
before.
watching. Hey Jake, how you doing?
Something happened.
So Jake who?
Is this your crew? Is he part of your crew?
No.
No. You're not part of the crew.
Tell me about
So why is everyone shaking? I don't understand.
Tell me about you, Jake.
What about?
Everybody wants to know about you.
I can't hear the speaker.
All right, let's move. Come on.
Thank you, Dead Man's Life. Hit the line button. You guys
I
got
was
to
just
get out
asking.
of here.
I do have crooked teeth. That's right. So do you.
So tell me about your mom. Tell me about all your girlfriends. How many girlfriends have you had in your life?
I was just asking.
How many
a question.
girlfriends have you had in your life? Hey Jake, how many?
Walk away
you
from
you
the
don't have
music.
girlfriends?
Huh? I'm not going to give you any personal information. You couldn't
So why are
catch
you
on.
asking me about personal information
Well,
about
what's-
me?
well, how is it personal if it was a public report I saw?
I don't know anything.
It's on Fox.
I know,
Oh my
but-
God. Yeah, I
So
got
I
to take
can't
it
ask
off
you nothing
anyway
about
since
personal
they got
about your
Well,
music
you
playing.
could. I don't have the answer. Right?
Right?
Right.
So what's your last name?
You want that?
Wow. Wow. That is crazy.
Reasonable to think that Bill Worski would start at a 40-year
Oh man.
type sentence. I think you're going to hear him appeal to
Let me see.
community safety.
Look how calm this is compared to we just watched.
You're
Look
gonna
how
hear
calm
him
this is
say,
right now
you know, a
compared to we
message
were
to
just
the
watching.
community
Hold on.
regarding, this type of conduct. I think he'll come back to saying that the case is not about race, but maybe about safety in the community. And then you're going to hear Mike Howard or Toby Shook come in, and then, you know, perhaps bring from any of us that can think back to when we were 17
JLR
years
was the
old
guy behind the
and
camera.
list off a number of terrible
JLR was the
decisions
one
that
behind the
made,
camera. So you didn't
but
see him
later
actually
on
on
turned
camera. He was
out to
behind
be
the camera.
okay people.
The one that was in the glasses, I don't know who that was. If they still buy the music, I got to go back off.
Have you ever heard of a gag order? Have you ever heard of a gag order? Well, I just all right, so okay, there's a gag order. I can't talk about that. So now I'm going to ask you about. I said that. Okay.
Well, I was.
So Jake.
Was.
All right, let's go back to see what we got going on here.
Am I racist? You got hanging your barn. Listen, hold up.
Thank you, Tina, for the super chat. Thank you. You're playing hooky at work now. Thank you so much. Tina's a loyal member and moderator. Oh, this person's in the thick of things. And then look, their live went frozen. Hope they didn't get punched in the face.
Am I racist? Am I racist? You got hanging your barn. Listen, hold up.
Ah. Who else do we have? Anybody else down there on the street?
Still a lot of people processing what happened in that courtroom and still trying to come to terms with it. But we haven't seen the.
So are they deciding the sentence today too, or is it the next day? Usually the sentencing is the next day.
And the sheriff's deputies
Usually
have done a good job of trying to lower the temperature a bit out there. Our reporter Jobin Puneker has been in the courtroom the entire time. He said, you know, after that verdict was.
Yeah, usually the sentencing, usually they set it for another day. Most of the time. Trying to see if I can find anybody else that's actually down on the street or down on the road.
Was denied, but there's a gentleman who looks like he is either Indian or some sort of mixed race. But yes, it is diverse. Well, I just want to tell you, that the judge admonished everyone not to have any outbursts or they would be held in contempt of court. The bigger reactions were from Karmelo Anthony's side, but we did see after everybody was let
So
out,
I want to see what some of the people that are actually down on the street are saying.
With some slight smiles on their faces, looks of relief, that type of a thing, and they seemed happy with the murder.
But everybody down there has horrible live. I'm actually on my
Anthony, who has been almost entirely emotionless during this entire
my phone right now looking.
Started crying. His mother was audibly upset. We could see her, she was leaning over in her seat. Karmelo Anthony could not rein it in, despite we could see, his lawyers rubbing his back and telling him, to pull it together. The judge wanted to continue. And Karmelo Anthony just could not pull it together. And I also want to remark that the lawyer, Karmelo Anthony's lawyer, said, "Judge, can I take him out?"
So this is how people get punched in the mouth and say they didn't do anything.
The judge said, he's now convicted of murder. Things move differently now. He said you can take him to the back for a little bit, but the judge making it known that things have changed now.
So they said the sentencing is going to happen today too. Wow. So they did the verdict and sentencing all in one day.
Well, I think the judge and the lawyers did their best to try to keep the outside noise out.
All in one
However,
day.
the defense did, they were a little coy about doing it, but they did things throughout the trial, like instead of
many trials under his watch for the last 20 years. He is very meticulously
So they're excuse me, all in one day. They're not playing in this town of Texas, huh? They are not playing. You get found guilty and hung all in the same day. Wow. Usually you have to wait and go to court again for your sentencing. Oh, man. But you know what? I guess it makes sense because the jury is going to do the guidelines of the sentencing. Yeah, so that makes sense. It's not the judge doing it, it's the jury.
The Metcalf brothers, but the idea that this
wow,
was
are they going to give him 99 years? No, he wasn't
a,
sentenced yet. He just got found guilty.
Route for the
are they going to give him 99 years?
Of their message to this jury that, you know, he had so many other choices to make, including doing nothing. There was adults, coaches, people. They're not just by themselves walking down to some street. There were so many avenues away. The idea of self-defense, do you think that obviously it didn't hit with the jury, but could it have pushed them to all agree collectively very quickly, like, no, we don't believe that this was self-defense, rather than go with another form of manslaughter as your defense?
Well, I think the self-defense was the right one. However, as we were having our break, one of our other court TV and one of my longtime friends from Law and Crime, Bob Mata, he was texting me because he's watching it, along with so many of our court TV analysts. And he said that the defense, and he is right, had the opportunity to raise the adequate cause. He said at the punishment stage of the trial, the defendant may raise the issue as to whether he caused the death under immediate influence of sudden passion arising from adequate cause. If the defendant proves the issue in the affirmative by preponderance of the evidence, that the offense is a felony of the second degree. Now, this is under their statute. So he could have raised the sudden passion, the defense could have, and it would have talked about the provocation that they alluded to by the individual killed or another acting person that was killed. So I just don't think that, I think the self-defense was the right defense, but I don't think that this defense counsel did everything that they could have done in addressing the issue. And they didn't do anything at the mitigation phase.
Yeah, well,
at this point,
we're going off of the reporting out of the courtroom. We didn't watch it in real time the way the juries did, and they didn't take them long. Less than 3 hours, given the amount of testimony that they absorbed. They came back with that top charge. So the state did an excellent job, you could argue, in their presentation of this evidence, and now it is up to the same jury.
And the strength says, we see our children having anger issues and seem to just ignore what's happening. And then we wind up here. I totally agree. Totally agree.
And as soon as he does, we will pass along what this jury decides in terms of penalty. For now, we're going to get a commercial break, and then we're going to switch over to Florida, the other case that we've been in.
Baby doll
today,
says
the George
manslaughter,
case.
not first
The
degree.
surviving
Manslaughter.
kids
Baby
that were on
doll.
this boat have been taken.
That's baby doll. I thought he was going to get That's what I thought. Innocent? No. Manslaughter? I thought yes. Okay, I thought manslaughter, but yeah, first degree within. The jury had their mind made up already. It took them less than 3 hours to come back with that. The jury had their mind made up already. It took them less than 3 hours to come back with that. All right, let's refresh these lives and feeds here and see what we got going on.
Can you defend yourself in this manner or not? And so there's that issue to try to balance with. And, the other issue, is certainly probably the argument, or there's the argument that, well, if a person of color, or if there was a black juror on there,
I'm reading Saul Madison's
does
comment.
that, suggest that they would have seen it less criminal?
You ain't
or
lying.
not. And
You are
so,
not lying.
The discussion or verdict still would have had to come from 12 people.
Sure.
Would have had to have been a unanimous verdict.
Baby doll, you're down there. You're in Texas right now?
We generally think of teachers.
You're in Tech. Are you at the courthouse? There is my email. So are you down there? Are you actually at the courthouse right now too? No, the jury didn't go home, user. The jury is still there. The jury is actually deciding on a sentence right now. Right now. So he got found guilty and he's going to get sentenced all in the same day. Wow. We don't see this much, guys. This doesn't happen often to where you get found guilty and sentenced all in the same day. Oh, you're actually at the courthouse. Okay, all right, all right. If you want baby doll, hold on real quick. Let me I'm actually going to put up my I'm going to put up my link so people can call in if they want to. So I'm going to put my link up right now and I'm going to post it. So if anybody wants to call in, especially like baby doll, if you want to call in, you're welcome to do it. I'm going to pin it right now. All right, so I put the link in to call in. If anybody ever wants to call in, it should be pinned in the messages right now. Okay, all right. You got my I put my email. You got my email, right? Email me real quick. Bella says, do I agree with the verdict? Oh man, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, right? And do not kill me and don't hate me. I thought, see, for me, it's a conflict. I'm very conflicted on this. I thought manslaughter. I didn't think that he was innocent. The reason why I didn't think he was innocent was because he brought the weapon to school or to the track in the first place. It would be like bringing it to school to class. You know not to have this stuff. Why do you have it on you in the first place, right? Do I think he woke up that morning grabbing a weapon saying, I'm going to go unalive somebody? And that, do I think that happened? No, I don't think that happened. But I thought for sure manslaughter is what I was thinking. Yeah, I didn't follow it, let's say like to the degree as I've been following, let's say like Nancy Guthrie, you know, things like that. I didn't follow it to that degree. So like I didn't hear a lot of the testimony. I didn't hear a lot of that, but I know the basics. I know the video, and you know, I know that stuff. Now I didn't have time to get into like the defense's actual strategy of what they were saying. Did Karmelo have any witnesses that said it was self-defense? Great question. Great. Does anybody that has been following this trial, were there any defenses that got up there or any witnesses that got up there in Karmelo's defense? Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's see. All right, so yes, there were some witnesses that actually got up. So it says the defense called several witnesses, including Anthony's teammates and coaches, to testify that mingling in other school tents was common at track meets. They argued Anthony was acting in self-defense. A teammate testified that after the stabbing, Anthony was distraught and repeatedly stated, "I told him not to touch me." So I don't know if they had a witness though that was in the tent with him saying it was self-defense. That part is not saying. It's not saying if there was an actual person who testified saying I was actually in the tent with him. That part I don't see.
You know, some of their backgrounds. I think some of them,
I'm still reading.
From the descriptions I've understood, tend to be from more conservative professional sectors.
Oh, here is a debate that goes on, and it's going to continue going on even after we all die. In certain cases, so say like this case, should Karmelo have got on the stand himself? Should Karmelo have got on the stand himself and testified? Should Karmelo have got on the stand himself and testified? I mean, he's already found guilty now anyway. But should he have got on the stand himself and testified? Now, me, personally, I'm getting on the stand all day. I'm sorry. If I know deep down inside, if I'm being tried and I know, let's say, I didn't want this to be the end, you know, the tragic end, and I know that deep down inside, I'm getting on the stand. I don't care what my lawyers tell me. I'm getting on the stand. If I'm truly sorry to the individual and the individual's family after all this happened, I am getting on the stand. And if he's truly sorry while he's on the stand, he should be emotion. He should show some emotion, which is authentic, legit, and real. You could tell when you're looking at somebody and they're faking it, right? You could tell. But when somebody's showing some authentic emotion and legit, it usually will make you be emotional. You get emotional too. It spreads. It's like smiling and laughing. People are laughing, it spreads to you laugh. Same thing with those type of emotions. So if it's authentic, you will tend to be emotional with that person. I would have got on the stand. It would have helped at least with, here's the issue. It would have helped at least with hopefully some remorse. Because yes, we know the prosecution is going to get up there questioning him to death. We know that. And probably, and you know what the prosecution is, what the prosecution would have done? The prosecution would have went up there and they would have tried their best to make the anger come out of Karmelo. Okay? So that way they can point at the jury and say, look, he's got issues. They would have tried their best to make the anger come out of Karmelo. Okay? I don't see too many questions they can ask Karmelo to make him, let's say, lie. Because here's the thing. If Carmelo's defense was like, I didn't do it, I wasn't there, I didn't have the weapon, that's a different story. But the thing is, we all know he did it. We all know he did it. But was it emotionally? You get what I'm trying to say? Or was he wake up that morning planning to do it? And then a defense could have got him up there and at least showed an emotional side of him. At least showed that he is remorseful. That could at least help them a little bit, to where that's crazy. Hey, hello, what's going on?
Hey, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for calling in. You there? I heard you at first. You might have cut out. You there? I'm going to hang up. Call right back, all right? Call right back. Call right back, baby doll. It disconnected. Bella said if he has anger issues, the prosecutor could have provoked him. And you're right. It could have provoked him. You're right. It could. But you know what? That's going to be the jury to decide because, yes, it could have provoked him. But at the same time, the defense is supposed to come up there and at least show the other side of him. At least show the other side of him. At least. I mean, he got found guilty anyway, right? And who knows? At least during sentencing, if they would have saw some emotion from Karmelo, maybe they would have been like, because remember, the sentencing is now from 5 to 99 years. It's a wide range. So the jury can come back and say 5 years if they want to. They can say 5 years. Right? You got convicted of first degree, but you're only getting 5 years. That's crazy. That's crazy if you think about it. So the range is actually 5 to 9. It's a big range. So at least that emotion, because I didn't think he was gonna be he's not innocent. He brought the knife to school. He's got to at least take accountability for that. I didn't think he was gonna get tried first degree. That part I didn't think so. But still, at the end of the day, at least the jury can see some sort of remorse to at least give him like, hey, yeah, maybe if you go to prison, take some anger classes, get your emotions in check. We see you're remorseful, but you got to fix yourself first. So go to prison for about a good whatever, and then come home a better man. That's kind of how I look at it. I wouldn't want to be his attorney. Yeah. Hey, actually, they didn't put Karmelo in any therapy. They didn't put him in any therapy. Oh man, I would have had him in therapy this whole time.
Yeah, in their mind. And
hey, baby
when
doll,
they
call
go
back
into
when you can. All right.
deliberations,
I would have had him in therapy. Actually,
there's going to be a debate regarding the number. And somebody may say, well, I could never agree to that. You know, so I do think it may go relatively quickly. And in order for it not to do that, somebody has to feel very strongly about a particular position that they will not change no matter what. And I don't know, as I understand this group of jurors, and again, taken from that initial verdict, that type of division would be among this group of 12 citizens. So those are the things that are indicating to me.
yeah, the defense should have had him in some sort of anger management classes. They should have had him in some sort of therapy. Put it this way: a lot of people when they're going to trial for drugs, things like that, one of the best things to do is go check yourself in a rehab. Go have some sort of rehab. So by the time you go for sentencing or you go whatever it is, you know, Your Honor, I have an addiction, I have an issue, and I checked myself in a rehab. Here's the thing, and I know all this far too well because of my personal experience. If you go into the courtroom, okay, and if you're caught red-handed doing something, your best thing is to not make excuses. It is to accept accountability for what you did. That is the best thing you can do. Accept accountability for what you did. Okay? Now, yes, there might be some I was hanging around the wrong crowd, or that type of thing. But first is accept accountability. Yes, Your Honor, I did this. I messed up. I know I shouldn't have done this, and I'm here to accept my consequences. And I've been working on fixing myself too. I've been going to rehab. I've been taking anger management classes because I realize I do have an issue. I do have a problem with this that I need help with. That is some of the best advice I can tell people when they get in trouble. And if you got caught, let's say red-handed, they know you did it. Don't go in there making excuses. Don't do it. They don't want to see that. They want to see you take accountability. And at the same time, fix yourself. Work on fixing yourself, okay? So they should have had him at least in some sort of emotional therapy. They should have, because here's the thing. Even if he was found innocent, guys, even if they found him innocent, he's still going to need therapy. Karmelo killed another person. He killed a man. He's going to need therapy. He is not going to have a normal life. He is forever going to be known as Karmelo, the person that did this to this person. Forever. Even if he's found innocent. He's going to need some emotional help. He's a kid. He's young. His emotions, his brain hasn't even developed fully yet. So he's going to need help. So they should have been giving him that help to begin with. Baby doll said, I tried to reach you again. You're in a bad area? Okay, yeah, it didn't even ring. Yeah, try again when it goes through. Hopefully it goes through this time. I could tell you were in a bad area because after I heard you, it froze. Sunshine Lady says, absolutely true. 100% true. That is what saved me. When I turned myself in, okay, I had to admit, because it took me 15 years to turn myself in. I had to admit everything I did 15 years, whatever it was prior ago, that long ago, and step in that courtroom and admit, hey, I was wrong. I don't care if I was hanging out with this crowd. I don't care if I was doing this. My mom taught me to live life like this. This is how I was raised from my family, and I should have listened to them, but I was an idiot and stupid and didn't listen. When that judge looked at me and shook his head and agreed. Like, and I never forget, he told me, hey, you sound like because he was my same judge from 15 years ago. He said, I could tell you grew up. I can tell that you grew up. You no longer need Department of Corrections. You corrected yourself.
Okay.
So you've got to have an agreement of
5
all
to
12.
99 years, guys. How
So-
long
Yeah,
you
the
think?
prison
How long
okay.
do you
I wasn't
think?
sure on that part.
And very rarely.
How long do you think, if you were on the jury panel, if you were one of the jurors, what would you say he should get? Do you think he should spend the rest? See, this is the hard part, guys. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm conflicted with this part. Do you think he should spend the rest of his life in jail? Or would you give him a chance at life later on? That is hard. Because literally, if you're giving this man, let's say you give him, 60 years is all could be a life sentence, or actually. He's already 19 years old. So if you give this kid 60 years plus anything above 60, that's pretty much a life sentence. Pretty almost is. Even if he survived that whole time and got out, all his family's passed away. They dead. What is he going to do when he gets out? He's only got a couple more years left to live. Yes, he can enjoy a little bit of freedom, but it's pretty much a death sentence, anything past 60. So would you give him a second chance of life, or would you say, no, you got to go? So I'll say he should get 20 to 30, which means if they gave him 20 to 30, he would still get a chance at life. As long as he stays good in jail, in prison, I would give him 30 years, another 30. And Texas, let's see. How long do you have to serve in Texas? Let's see. Because every state's different on how long they have to serve. So it says in Texas, individuals convicted of violent or 3G crimes must serve at least 50% of their actual sentence, or a minimum of 30 years for life sentences. So how you guys are saying 30, you guys are all giving the number 30. There's a few of you people in here saying 30. So that means 15 years from now, he would be eligible for parole. Now, that does not mean he's going to get parole, but he would be eligible for parole in 15 years. Most people don't get parole their first time. Most people don't. But he would be eligible for parole. And the parole board, they're going to want to see a couple things from you. Did you work on yourself? 1. Did you work on yourself? Therapy, classes, education. What did you do while you were in prison? Did you just sit on your bunk all day? What did you do to help yourself further you so when you get out? And number 2, are you going to accept accountability? How many people I know went to the parole board? Okay. I know a bunch of people that went to the parole board, took all these classes, did everything they're supposed to do, got to the parole board and told them, yeah, I'm a changed man. And that, yeah, I didn't really do that crime. I didn't deny parole. Denied. So if he gets a chance at life, it's going to be up to him. Yeah, a lot of you guys are thinking looks like 25. A lot of you guys are thinking 25 to 30 years. We're pretty crowded in Texas. He can get out in half. 25 to life possibility. Yeah, a lot of you people, are actually, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? A lot of you people who are saying that, he needs to go to jail or think he's guilty or whatever it is, a lot of you are agreeing 25 to 30 years, meaning a lot of you guys are agreeing that he should at least get a second chance at life. I haven't seen one person here say throw away the key. Everybody is agreeing that he should get at least a second chance at life. Well, this person's stream is still messed up. They need to fix that.
Remember, there was a gag order in this case. No one can talk until after
TG's
the
one of the ones that
entire
said throw away the
punishment
key.
and guilt
TG
innocence
said
phase
actually
and all of
throw
the
away
phases
the
of this
key.
trial are over. So they've not been able
TG,
to
why
say
do you think
anything
throw
or
away the
talk to
key? And don't
media or
attack
talk to
TG,
anyone.
guys. Don't attack TG. But why do you think throw away the key? I'm curious. Why do you think that?
At this point, had a chance
Do you
to
think
really
that?
address
Do you think
anything
that
else, and so this is
he
their
can't be
chance to
fixed?
speak directly to Karmelo Anthony. Chris.
I just want to give you guys some insight on what's happening in the courtroom right now. Jobin Puttaker just let us know that both families, Austin Metcalf's family and Karmelo Anthony's family, have both returned to the courtroom. He says that Austin Metcalf's family is slightly more talkative now at this phase of the proceeding, whereas Karmelo Anthony's family is still extremely quiet. The public has also been allowed back into the courtroom as well. And
So
Jobin
TG
says
pretty much
he is
believes
seeing
an
a lot
eye
more
for an eye.
young faces.
TG
there in
believes
the
an eye
crowd.
for an
We
eye. You
assume,
take a life,
these
we
could
take
be
your life.
classmates,
Okay,
friends,
all right,
fellow students. For either
There's a lot of
who
people
either
who
went
agree
to
with that.
school
You
or
take a
were
life,
friends or knew Karmelo Anthony.
we gotta take a life
or
back. So
Austin
a lot of people,
Metcalf.
there's people who agree with that.
I just want to get back out to our team out there on the scene there for one last question. In terms of this punishment phase, just again go over with our viewers exactly what the jury is able to consider at this point.
Let's ask Keith that.
Yeah.
Walk our viewers through what is the jury asked to consider in the punishment phase?
So they're going to be asked to consider everything that got presented to them in guilt, innocence, in punishment. Nothing outside of that, okay? And so they're going to be asked to consider that. And obviously the attorneys are going to make arguments that they can consider what those closing arguments are in punishment. But at the end of the day, again, in the charge, it's going to say, hey, it's murder. The punishment range is 5 to 99 years or life. If you find that sudden passion existed in this situation, you now can consider a punishment range of 2 to 20, and they're going to be instructed of that. So then we'll just have to see, one, if they believe the sudden passion or if they find that sudden passion existed, and then what their punishment number is going to be.
And if you were the defense attorney, what are you going to tell this jury? And if you're the prosecution, same question, what are you going to hone in on in these closing arguments?
Well, I think for Bill as a prosecutor, and I think he's done a really good job in guilt innocence, he's always kept it to about this happened, intentional. Was this intentional? Was it intentional? Was this self-defense?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
To people that he knew would say, no, it's not self-defense. So I think that he just continues to hammer, this is an intentional act. You've already found him guilty of murder, and he just makes his argument based off of that. Again, I think for the state, you kind of walk a tightrope because you don't know if this jury's sympathetic to his age, if they might not be at that top end of punishment, if someone were going to ask for that. So I think sometimes you just say, hey,
make sure you guys hit that like, okay? Hit the like.
Argue, hey, I don't think that this is sudden passion, so I'm going to ask the
subscribe if you're not a subscriber.
He was okay with it being in the charge. He could say, I don't think that the facts presented to you rise to the level for you to believe that. So I think that you should be in this 5 to 99 range. As a defense, again, you're going to hammer the facts of this case. He didn't intend, or he didn't show up that morning with a knife saying he was going to kill someone.
That is the part.
Circumstances
that
around
part.
that tent. The
Okay.
fact that there were multiple
man.
people and he's sitting down the whole time. You know, yes, you know, y'all have found him guilty, but we're going to ask you to consider sudden passion. We're going to, and they'll probably lay out some of the facts that got presented to them that they think would tie in with why they believe sudden passion existed, and they're going to try to get the jury considering punishment in that 2 to 20 range.
We're getting a wrap, so we're going to send it back to the studio. We're going to reset here for our 4 o'clock show, I believe, Chris.
Yeah, Rebecca, Tanya, thank you so much. Just want to bring you up to speed on what's happening in the courtroom right now. The jury is back in the courtroom, and Judge Roach is now reading the punishment instructions to the jury. So within minutes now, they will go into a room and start deliberating an appropriate punishment after finding Karmelo Anthony guilty of murder. Again, we have been on the air now for about 2 hours here, ever since we got word that they had reached a verdict.
I'll look, see if I got your email.
Considering manslaughter and
I got
murder, and they
I
found
got
him
it.
guilty of
I got your
murder.
email. I'm gonna email you back.
They have immediately moved into the punishment phase, which is deciding exactly how long he will go to prison.
Thank you for being transparent and honest. You're
welcome.
welcome.
He has to go to prison, but they are determining for how long he will spend in prison. Again, want to thank you for joining us here on WFA.
So I have a couple businesses, okay? So it was hard for me to get a job because of my background, and the jobs I did get, I couldn't move up. And like, if I got a corporate job, they wouldn't let me, I could only get to a certain part and I couldn't go higher, whatever, right? So I actually had to open up my own companies. So one of my companies that I do have is a cleaning business. And I have crews that go out and clean office buildings after they close. And it's always a high turnover rate. All the time. I don't care if I got 5 people, 10 people. Out of that 5 is usually maybe 1 that stays. Out of that 10, I might get 2. Lucky if I get 3 that stays. Always high turnover, right? Used to it. So I'm constantly always hiring people. Well, I hire some of my best people that have worked with me, believe it or not, are people fresh out of prison that have not got a chance and on parole. I have one working for me right now, fresh out of prison, on parole. He did, I think it was 17 years. 17 years he did, okay? And in Florida, because I'm in Florida, there is no 50%. Florida, you have to serve 85% of your time, no matter if you stole a pizza, or you killed somebody. You got to serve 85% of your time. There is no, they have parole, but a very few people get this parole, okay? So you got to serve 85% of your time, no matter what. Then after that, you go on probation. He's been with me now for 2.5 years, 3 years, 3 years. Never calls off. Never has any excuses. He's actually a supervisor now. So he, you know, if I send him out there with 2 or 3 people, and let's say one of the people under him mess up, he takes accountability. He doesn't even blame the person that messes up. He takes accountability. He sits there and says, I should have trained him better. My fault. So there are people who can go, come out, you know, and be a better person. Bella said, at his age, I would take myself out. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, it costs you a lot to hire and train. It does. It costs you a lot. Or it's more time consuming, really. It's really time consuming, almost more than anything. you have a lot of people nowadays who just want to be given everything. A lot of people don't even know what hard work is. But I do find that the ones who are really hungry and the ones who went through a lot of trouble early on in life, and now I find they work some of the hardest people that I've come across. Hard work don't seem so hard when you've been in prison without possibility of working hard for your own enrichment. That part is true. That is so true. That part, because my guy, you could tell he just enjoys life. He enjoys every little bit of life. Guys, here's the one thing that I realize is Dodgers and Pittsburgh game at 3 p.m. All right. Yeah. I'm going to Sal. I'm going to email you, okay? Here's the one thing that a lot of people don't realize, and I don't expect you to realize, especially if you've never been locked up or nothing like that. You know, you start missing the little things. You miss the little things. You miss hot showers. Some of these facilities don't have hot water. You literally are taking cold showers. Cold showers. For real. You miss being able to go to the refrigerator and just eat when you want to. If you don't have commissary, nobody's putting money on your books, you can only eat when they tell you to eat, which is some 6 in the morning, 11, and then 4 in the afternoon. Sometimes 3 in the afternoon, depending on where you're at. Then you go the whole night without eating no snacks or nothing. You miss tying your own shoes. Some of these facilities don't have laces because they don't want you to hang yourself. So they don't have laces. You miss tying your shoes. You miss real soap. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys know who Bob Barker is? I'm pretty sure you guys know who Bob Barker is, right? Bob Barker from Price is Right. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Bob Barker is from The Price is Right, right? What if I was to tell you how Bob Barker really makes his money? Did you know he is one of the leading provider of products to jails and prisons? The little no-name soaps you get, the toothpaste you get in jail that has no flavor or nothing to it, tastes like thick water. Literally, it tastes like thick water. I don't even know how it makes your breath smell good. It tastes like thick water. The pillowcases to the handcuffs. Bob Barker provides all of that. And just in case, some people has never seen this, right here. Bob Barker. Uniforms that fit your facility. The orange sandals. Personal hygiene. These little toothbrushes that are no longer than 2 inches. You miss brushing your teeth with a regular toothbrush. These toothbrushes are like this big. You literally have to put your whole finger in your mouth to brush the back of your teeth. But Bob Barker provides most of the stuff that prisoners, county jails have. And you know what? I never knew that. Never knew that until one day I get a pillow, because if you're in county jail, first of all, county jail, and your county jail has pillows, bravo to you. Most county jails don't even have a pillow, okay? And if they do have pillows, it's not enough for everybody. It's not enough. So I'm in there. There's not enough for everybody to have a pillow, okay? One person's leaving. So they're like, here, you can have my pillow. So I'm going around asking for a suitcase. Hey, anybody got an extra suitcase? So the guard eventually gives me a suitcase. Okay, or a pillowcase. Sorry, pillowcase. Guard gives me a pillowcase. The pillowcase was inside out. So as I'm unfolding it, you know, it's got a little tag on there. What did the pillowcase say? Bob Barker. I said, hold on, is this the same guy from Price is Right? That was when I found that out. What? No way. Mr. Guard, is this the same Bob Barker? Yep. Your soap is Bob Barker. Your toothpaste is Bob Barker. All this comes from Bob Barker, sir. But you're sitting in there and you miss these little things. So by the time you get out and you're a free man, there's so much of the little things that you just took for granted in life. Like I said, a hot shower. Took it for granted. You took a hot shower. This might sound disgusting, you guys, but I'm just going to be real with you. Soft toilet paper. You can go to the store right now and buy Charmin, extra 4-ply. There, no. Toilet paper feels like paper napkins. And I'm not talking about Bounty paper napkins. I'm talking about paper napkins, those light brown ones is what I'm talking about. That come out the machine in the public dispensary when you're at a restroom. Those type of paper napkins. That's what the toilet paper feels like. So yes, you when you get out, you cherish everything. Every single thing. Lisa Field says, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate. Thank you, Lisa. Our athletes can report misconduct to their coach or meet officials. That's it. They cannot enforce space, discipline, or remove people from areas. No, everybody should have kept their hands to themselves. Really. Everybody should have kept their hands to themselves. Is what should have happened. But these kids let emotions take run of them. Ereep say, Ray, how long were you in? I didn't do long, 2 years, but a year and some change of that. A year of that was a boot camp prison program. I did a boot camp prison program. Back in the day, they had a boot camp prison program for people who are nonviolent. So if you're nonviolent, they sent you to a boot camp prison program. So I had to wait a year in actual act because it's a waiting list. So I had to wait a year in actual prison and then go to the boot camp prison program. We went with 103 people went to this boot camp prison program. You know how many graduated? Out of 103 people went, 22 of us graduated. 22. Out of 103 people, there was 4 women, just 4. 3 of them graduated. Only 1 girl dropped out. One of the hardest things I ever did. William says not even 1 ply, it's half ply. Yes, restroom paper towels. Prison is a money scheme, especially if it's a private prison.
Welcome back to our breaking news coverage of the Karmelo Anthony trial this afternoon. A jury has found him guilty of murder in the Frisco track meet stabbing trial. And right now that case has moved straight into the sentencing phase. Both sides get 20 minutes now to present their closing arguments to the jury before the jury decides punishment in this case. And we just got an update from Jobin Puneker, who is actually there in the courtroom. He says that the prosecution prosecution has gone first here in these closing arguments and is talking to the jury about the victim in this case, Austin Metcalf. And he says that he will never have time with his parents. He'll never get his diploma or find his love. Jobin reports that the prosecution is showing a picture from April 2nd of 2025 when this stabbing at the track meet occurred. It shows coaches working on Austin Metcalf with chest compressions, and in the back of the picture you can see people praying. And again, this is a part of the closing argument going into the punishment phase. That jury will be deliberating that here in just a little while. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez and investigative reporter Tanya Iser are still at the courthouse there in McKinney.
So it sounds like they are in there pretty much fighting their case, fighting their chances. Prosecution is probably going to ask for 99 years. They always ask for the max, right? And then defense is in there asking for as little as possible.
UFAA Plus in our streaming coverage this afternoon.
Sunshine, Ray, you're a humble, wise gent
phase, Anthony
with
could
teachable
get
soul.
between
I'm so proud
5
of you. Thank
and
you so much,
99 years
Sunshine.
in
Thank
prison.
you. Thank you.
But there is this possibility for the defense to seek 2 to 20 years in prison if they can prove
I've never seen the Bob Barker doc. I didn't even know there was one. I never saw that. I didn't know.
Let Keith take that question.
So again, it goes to the evidence that got presented at trial. The defense is going to make arguments of why they think Karmelo's actions lacked time for cool reflection. That's what they probably really want to hit on in punishment, because they do want to make sure that they give a compelling argument. Since the sudden passion is going to be in the charge, they want to try to show every way from the evidence in the case of how they can tie that in, because they want the jury to find that.
See what's going on in the
2 to
streets down
20
there.
year, punishment range, and that they're not looking at the upper end, the 5 to 99
Checking
years
what
of life
other
in prison
feeds
for
are
just
doing
murder.
right now.
And Jason, one of the things that
If
you
anybody's
said
actually
was
down
that
the street
Jobin
not
talked
arguing.
about how the jury is right now seeing a picture of the paramedics working on Austin Metcalf. The jury also saw that in a body camera video, and it was probably one of the most impactful parts
All right,
of this
let's
trial
look at,
because you can hear.
Let's check out maybe Court TV. Let's see what they got going on.
You all kind of having fun listening to Uptown Girl and
That's not the same thing.
Rain is expected into North Texas.
Oh, a lot of these stations look like they clicked off. What about for the you guys don't care about the sentencing? Come on now. You guys should care about the sentencing, at least on the big media stations, you would think, right? Let's refresh, see what we got going.
Take a look.
Large portion.
Oh man, yeah, most of these live feeds are probably waiting. It looks like they're gonna wait. Yeah, they're probably gonna wait to after the conviction. Let's see what this guy's doing. Let's see.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, he ended his live. So JLR live, his live is ended too. So it looks like most people now went off. They shut off, and now they're just gonna wait. Hey, Ray, watching from Pennsylvania. Hey, Dee Dee. Tina says, you're such an inspiration to others. No doubt many lives are and will be changed because of what you have been through and how you made a difference on your own. Life shows it can be done. Yes, it can be done. First step, though, is accepting what you did wrong. That is the very first step, accepting what you did wrong. Because if you can't accept what you did wrong, all right, let's go back to I didn't even realize it switched Karmelo up here to a C, not a K. I just realized that. TG says, do you think you would be covering this if it was two kids of the same race? I have to wonder if I would have even heard of this case if it was not black against white. Let me put your comment.
We've been following that big breaking news all afternoon long of a.
This is a great question. Great question. Do you think you would be covering this if it was two kids of the same race? I have to wonder if I would have even heard of this case if it was not black against white. Great question. So if it was two black kids, for example, this happened to two black kids, would this get the same amount of coverage? If this was two white kids that it happened to, would this get the same amount of coverage? This is a great question. And you know what? You sparked my interest. You have sparked my interest with that question. Hold on. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. You sparked my interest. Let me see something real quick. Let me see something. I am actually going to look just to see if there's any more cases. I'm gonna look right now just to see if there's any more cases that could be similar to this that we don't even know about. Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm looking right here just to see.
Investigators say it happened at the Halo 40 at an off-campus.
All right, let's see something here. Let's see something, guys. Let's test this theory out. I want to see something. So back to this comment. Do you think you would be covering this if it was two kids of the same race? I have wondered if I would have even heard of this case if it was not black against white. This right here happened 5 days ago. This was reported 5 days ago. Tampa, Florida. It's only got 3.4K views. This says USF student, which is a college that's down here, USF student involved in off-campus stabbing.
Campus student housing complex near USF. Investigators say it happened at the Halo 46 apartments, and now they believe the suspect is dead. Fox 13's Kylie Jones is joining us live in Tampa with the latest. Kylie.
Well, and Haley, this afternoon we learned about a separate death investigation at this apartment complex behind me. It's close to that initial scene, and this is where that death investigation was happening involving the suspect. We do know that the suspect and one of those victims are students at USF, and today we talked to a couple other students who gave us a look at what appeared to be a pretty bloody scene this morning.
I walked out of my apartment, and this is what I see.
A trail of what appear to be bloody footprints lining the hallway at the Halo 46 apartments in Tampa.
So
This
I'm
happened
walking
5 days ago,
and I'm
guys.
walking
5
and
days ago.
it keeps going. And I go down the same stairs, that stairwell over there, and it goes and it goes until it goes out the door. And I'm like, wow.
Mackenzie Miller says the footprints led her out in front of the off-campus student housing complex near USF. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says it was the scene of a double stabbing early Wednesday morning.
This morning we were walking my dog and we saw like yellow tape and like 5 police cars with like their lights on, and we saw like a bloody shirt and then like all the blood that's on the ground.
Deputies say a man called 911 around 4:30 in the morning saying he and another person had been stabbed. USF police say the suspect and one of the victims are roommates and students at USF.
You notice they're
The
not
second
giving
victim
names, they're not giving
reportedly is
races.
not related to the university.
The fact I didn't hear it and it's
They're
on
not
my
talking
floor
about
is what
if this
really,
person's
like,
black or
wow.
white. You notice that?
I didn't know anything was going on. It was scary.
The sheriff's office said the 2 victims are stable. Late Wednesday afternoon, deputies said there was a separate death investigation at 3600 East Fletcher Avenue. It's the address of Union on Fletcher, another apartment complex close by. Deputies believe it's the stabbing suspect who's dead, but no word on how they died.
It just makes me think like that guy could have just opened one of our doors, and if we didn't lock our doors that night, it could have been us.
Now, at this point, it's not clear how that.
Now, this came out 5 days ago. I did notice they didn't give us no names, for one. They didn't say if the person was black or white, a Mexican, Puerto Rican. They didn't say any of that. No pictures. They didn't give
New details today on.
They didn't give us anything. How after the Karmelo Anthony, after what happened there, how long was it until we found out that one was black or white? Was it right away? Do you guys remember, like, when they first started reporting this? Was it right away? Because I don't remember. Did they, like, the first thing you saw, they showed a picture of Anthony and a picture of him? The very first thing?
On a stabbing at an apartment complex near the University of South Florida.
A USF student carrying out a double stabbing, injuring a fellow student and another person at a Tampa apartment complex.
So there's 3
Janice is in the newsroom with the latest. Janice.
Yeah, Nicole Calvin, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says the suspect is dead. They also confirm that the suspect and one of the victims were both students at USF. Officials say the HCSO responded to a call just after 4:30 a.m. Wednesday when they found the victims at an off-campus apartment. Hours later, around 3:45 p.m., authorities say they found the presumed suspect dead at another apartment complex for USF students. Police also confirm that the suspect and one of the victims were roommates, while the second victim was not affiliated with the university.
I could have walked out of my apartment.
All right. This one says
we
to
also have
identify him.
breaking
Let's
news
see.
in that double stabbing that happened near USF yesterday.
Just hours ago, police released the name of the person believed responsible for the violence and was later found dead. He is 21-year-old Hansel Pearson. Wednesday's stabbing is just one of 2 dangerous attacks involving
Hansel
students
Pearson.
at the University of South Florida in as many months. The university now making changes here, saying it will soon launch its new recommended off-campus housing provider program. And 10 Tampa Bay News reporter Angelicia Bruton joins us live tonight.
Yeah, to explain what students expect and their reaction to all this violence, Angelicia.
Yeah, USF says that this new voluntary program will include standards for safety and service, a move that addresses many concerns from students following recent incidents at off-campus housing.
Hey, do you guys remember these pictures right here? You guys remember him by chance? He's one of the victims that was from India. And if you remember, if you were on my live that day, I was actually out looking for her body. If you guys were out with me that day, I was out looking for her body. And We were actually all in the area, but just didn't find her. But we were in the same area where she was found at. I don't know if you guys remember that. This is the exact same apartment complex that this happened with. This should have been a bigger story than what it was. It should have been a way bigger story than what it was. But maybe because the person that did that to him, I guess, was brown, Muslim, it never got bigger. I don't know. I don't know. But this is the exact same apartment building. Not even a couple months later, more people are getting stabbed in a college student apartment, a college dorm, pretty much apartment building. That's insane.
South Florida in as many months.
Yeah, USF says that this new voluntary program will include standards for safety and service, a move that addresses many concerns from students following recent incidents at off-campus housing communities.
So this guy, he used to live in this apartment building, okay? And he had two roommates. One was a Muslim guy. Actually, he's Muslim too, but he was from Pakistan. I think it was Pakistan. That's where he's from, Pakistan. So he was from Pakistan. He was Muslim. And his roommate was also Muslim. Okay, he had two roommates. The one roommate, they kind of kept his identity concealed. Like, I know who it is, but I want to put him on blast. But the roommate who did it was Muslim, and he was dating this girl and cut him up in the apartment and then threw him off on the bridge. And it looked like it happened again. But I remember doing the story, and most people didn't hear of the story or anything of it. It was only really a Florida coverage thing. It should have been bigger than what it was. Now, the question is, if these two, and it's just an honest question, guys, honest question. If these two were white, he was from Pakistan, here on a student visa. If he was a white kid from Tennessee, let's say, and she was white from Arizona, would this got more national attention? TG, that great question that you thought of just now.
Making changes here, saying it will soon.
After a stabbing involving two USF students at Halo 46 apartment complex Wednesday.
My roommate saw blood on the sidewalk. We saw, I think, a t-shirt or something, some fabric with what looked like blood on it.
His last name was Pearson.
Hours later, detectives launched a separate investigation after discovering the suspect, Hansel Pearson, dead near Union on Fletcher. Both are currently apartment complexes recommended by USF. HCSO says Pearson and one of the stabbed victims were roommates.
But those are the cop cars.
Isabella Pancrazio says it's reassuring knowing the incident wasn't random, though the roommate matching process remains a concern.
Me and a couple friends moved in here, and then we got a random roommate, a random assignment that was already living here.
This incident comes less than 2 months after the murders of two students at Avalon Heights, not too far from Halo 46.
I wasn't surprised.
Abraham Al-Badawi started this petition in April.
Still there. It still holds its value.
Calling for increased off-campus housing and enhanced student safety measures.
To review really the policies when it comes to off-campus housing and what gets listed on their website. Because whatever's on their website, according to anyone who sees it, in their eyes, it's official.
I did check USF's off-campus housing website, and I did not see Avalon Heights listed. USF also says that safety for their students.
Let's see if I can find one of the first articles. Karmelo. And let's see if I can find one of the first articles. I want to see something. Let's see. What year did this take place? The Karmelo Anthony stabbing? Karmelo. April 2025. Let's see. It's probably going to be hard now for anything to pop up. Actually, let me take his name out. Let's say student stabs athlete at track meet. Let's see if anything older happens to pop up, which I highly doubt because there's so much going on in the algorithm. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Here we go right here. Wow, guys. Well, look at this. Look at this. You guys ready? The parents at Bella, the parents are actually in the middle about to pursue. They're about to have a lawsuit on the college and that apartment building. So look at this, guys. Watch this. What was the actual date the Karmelo Anthony stabbing hacks? What year and date? What was the actual date? April 2nd. So this is April 16th, 2005. April 16th, 2005. Texas. The 17-year-old charged with stabbing another teen to death at a track meet in Texas has been released on bond and placed on house arrest. Then look what it has right here. Look what it's got right there. One of the first articles already shows you the divide. Already shows you the divide. This is from April 2005. 2025. One of the first articles. Let's see if they mention anything about race, color. Let's see. Oh, so it shows him getting out. Yep, one of the first articles already shows you the divide. Let's see if this has a picture. So this is an article that happened. They wrote this. It looks like the next morning after it happened. A high school student was fatally stabbed at a track meet on Wednesday, and police have charged another student with his murder. Just doesn't make any sense. Megan Metcalf said, just because the kid was mad, my son is not here anymore, and I don't understand it. Metcalf's 17-year-old son, Austin, was at a track meet at Kirkendall Stadium when he and another student got into an altercation. Her son, Hunter, Austin's identical twin, called her. So on this one, it does not mention the race or race of them. But watch this. Watch this, guys. I'm willing to bet you on Wiki. You guys want to take bets on Wiki? It's probably going to say something. Oh, if you go to Wikipedia, look at that. First thing it says. Look. The red ROM, the termination and deletion of Austin Metcalf. And then look in the very first line. The very first line. On April 2nd, 2025, Austin Metcalf, a white 17-year-old student at Memorial High School, was terminated by Karmelo Anthony, a black Centennial High School student of the same age. The very first two lines on Wiki is already separating and dividing. Already. Now you got people divided in the streets arguing. Not even looking at the facts of the matter. Most people now are just seeing color. All because of stuff like this that I just highlighted. You know, when I was in Canada, it's against the law to ask your race on the application. Did you guys know that? Anybody in Canada in here? In Canada, it's against the law to ask your race on an application. So nobody discriminates against you.
Case, as well as Hunter Metcalf, his twin brother. He was showing that to the jury, and the prosecution was saying we've spent too much time talking about Karmelo Anthony, the defendant who's been found guilty here. We haven't spent enough time talking about Austin Metcalf. And then the prosecutor pointed to the Metcalf.
Bella says, so sad. I think this sort of thing by broadcast is so normal. They don't see this causes conflict and division. I don't think the reporters, you know, they're just reporting, right? But who's writing the script on a teleprompt? Because they're all reading teleprompts. So who's writing the script on a teleprompt? Who's the head person or the head people in charge of putting these stories together and how to read it? Those people, I wonder if they do certain things on purpose. Yeah, you don't have to. But you know, here they still ask you that for census. You know, here they still ask you that for census. Canada, they can't even put it on the application. They can't even put it on. No school application, no job application, no nothing. It can't be on there. I don't actually, you know what, was sex even allowed to be on there? Now think about it. Yes, even you can't even ask if the person is male or female. It says, yes, it is strictly illegal under the Canadian Human Rights Act. Sex is legally protected ground, and sexual harassment in hiring process is prohibited. So they can't even put these things on the application, because here you don't have to answer it, but they still put it on. They still put it on. So what they do is they trick you guys. They trick you. So here, for example, so watch this. In the US, it is not illegal for employers to ask for your race on a job application, but how they ask matters. Key thing. How they ask matters. And the reason why I know this is because I hire people. Voluntary disclosure. You are never legally obligated to answer. You can always choose to decline to answer or skip the question. So what they'll do is they'll still put it on the application, right? And you have people that don't know any better, because a lot of people don't know any better. So they'll just see an application if you're going to school, and they'll ask you, you know, all these questions. Are you white, Caucasian, Asian, Latino, Hispanic, Black, African American? And if you don't know any better, you're going to check one. Then I remember back in the day, they didn't used to have this category. They didn't have mixed. I'm mixed. I'm mixed. They didn't have mixed. And back in the day when I was younger, it used to say, please check one. It actually said, please check one. So I had to look at the application, sit there, and decide if I want to be black or white today. I actually had to look at an application. This is a long time ago when I was younger, and decide, do I want to be black or white on this application? Because I can only check one. But yeah, in Canada, they're not even allowed to even put it on. You can't even put it on there. So there's no tricking nobody into answering these questions. Yeah, it wasn't all white. They did have other races in there, if I'm not mistaken. Hispanic. Was there Asian in there too, or something like that? I know there was Hispanic people in there too.
From the appellate attorney's standpoint, they're probably going to review the record. Defense, that's why they make the objections. That's why they're very clear, so that they can preserve error for appeal. If they would have never objected to those strikes, then he couldn't have gone on appeal and said, hey, the court erred in going with the state on these strikes for whatever reason based on race and everything like that. So they preserved the error so that the appellate attorney could raise that if they want to.
Jason.
All right, Rebecca Lopez, Tanya Iser, and attorney Keith Harris, thank you so much, all of you, for the expertise, for your coverage. I know that it is a difficult situation out there. There's a lot going on, a lot of things to keep tabs on. It is a really hot afternoon. We see the people who have gathered there at the courthouse are all taking refuge under trees. And so our thanks for all of the coverage this afternoon. And of course, we'll see you all back here on the 5 o'clock news and of course on WFAA Plus as well. Again, the jury in the Karmelo Anthony case has now been deliberating for the past 8 minutes or so, and they are in the punishment phase here. We could see anything, as we understand it at this point, between 2 and 20 years or 5 and 99 years. We will, of course, be staying on top of this all the way to the very end. Let's get a quick look at your traffic before we go to break here this afternoon, something we usually do at this hour, but we haven't been able to get over to you, Stacia.
Yeah, Jason, and at the top of the hour, we did have a couple major...
There was a question I saw earlier. There was a question. Somebody asked why there was no black jurors. So both sides get to help pick the jury. Both sides do get to help. The defense and prosecutors both get to help pick the jury. What it says right here, it says, in the trial of Karmelo Anthony, prosecutors used their permitted strikes to dismiss the remaining black potential jurors, arguing that they were educators because the fatal stabbing occurred at a school-sponsored track meet. Prosecutors argued that educators might be too closely connected to the circumstances. So it sounds like there were 3 jurors who were chosen, and then each side gets a strike. Okay, it's playing chess, guys. That's really this is what it is. It's playing chess. Okay, it's playing chess. So they choose these jurors, And then what happens is, let's say you're on the defensive side, say you're a defense attorney. You get a certain number of strikes to use. That jury I don't want. Strike him out. Okay? Same thing with the prosecution. That jury I don't want. Strike him out. So guess what happened? Prosecution used their 3 strikes on the 3 black people, saying that, hey, they're educators and they got a close relation. And that's what happened. So it sounds like the prosecution was playing chess and the defense was twiddling their thumbs playing tic-tac-toe. Just by looking at that, it sounds like the defense weren't doing a proper job with that, if that's the case. You know the prosecution, matter of fact, let me see something. All right, so for you guys that don't know this is the way it works in Texas because each state's different, all right? In Texas courts, both the state and plaintiff defense get a limited number of strikes, okay? Also known as challenges to remove prospective jurors. And it goes, the exact number of strikes depends on the type of case. So in a felony case, both sides are allowed 10 strikes, guys. Meaning the prosecution gets 10 strikes, the defense gets 10 strikes. If there's a juror that gets selected and they both agree on the juror, then they both, don't have any strikes. Because what happens is you both can agree on one. But if there's a juror that's selected by the prosecution, but not selected by the defense, like they don't like him, then they can use one of their strikes and challenge why this juror should not be on the panel. And the prosecution used their last 3 strikes on the 3 black people that was on the juror that were educators. All 3 were educators working at a school. I think the defense fumbled the ball on that one. I'm sorry, but I think they fumbled the ball on that one. They fumbled the ball on that one. They did not diversify. Why choose 3 people all with the same jobs in life? And they messed up on that one. They messed up. You should have diversified, because what happens is the prosecution, when they did that first strike, oh, we don't want this juror because they work at a school, so they could be too close to the situation. Now that's going to affect the other 2 black people that are on the juror, when you should have diversified. His attorney, definitely, the attorneys fumbled the ball on that one. I'm not even an attorney, and I know that. It should have been diversified when it comes to that. You don't want to risk a juror being struck out and then all the other 2 are struck out too because they're the same type of people. One, a teacher. All right, let's take a shot with the teacher. Okay. All right, this one works maybe as a, I don't know, trash man. Let's take a shot with him. Because now their strike, it can't be challenged the same way with the trash man. It has to be totally something different. But what they did was the prosecution played chess, not checkers. You could blame Karmelo's lawyer for that one. Yeah, Christina, did you hear what I said? They had them. They had 3. There was 3 on there. And the prosecution used their last 3 challenges to remove them. Because all 3 that were on there, all 3 worked at schools. They were in the education system. So the prosecution said this could be a conflict of interest because they already work at a school. They could be closely tied. So the defense, I believe, fumbled the ball when it came to that. The defense fumbled hard when it came to that. Even let's just say let's say in the court, and let's just say in the court it was racist. Let's just say this. It was racist. So if you're the defense attorney, and you know that in this court it's racist, you know that, why won't you have more of a diversity of black folks if this is what you know was going on? You get 12 people on the juror. Only 3 was up there out of the 12. Because both sides get to pick. 3 black people up there on a 12 jury. And all the 3 people you pick are all the same profession, educators? Come on. Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Here's the thing. You can, whether he's guilty of first degree, manslaughter, whatever it is, you still can't deny the defense did a horrible job when it came to that. Let's read some of your comments here. Glad to see you guys having a actual intelligent conversation without calling each other names. That part I like. It's cool that you can disagree with one another. That's part of life. None of us are the same. That's why there's a jury. Some people disagree, others won't, right? Let's see if anything's changed. So sentencing might not happen tonight, maybe. This part actually might take a little longer. This might take a little longer. It sounds like Karmelo Anthony defense should have did a lot and they didn't do it. It sounds like they should have done a lot and they didn't do it. That's what it sounds. Matter of fact, wait, who was the lawyer? Who was the lawyer? Let me see. That part I don't know. Let's see Karmelo Anthony's lawyer. Who was the lawyer? Dallas-based defense attorney Mike Howard. All right, let's see what he's got going on. Let's see. What has he got going on? I'm looking up the lawyer right now. Dang, guys, look at this, guys. Oh my God, his Google reviews took a hit. Look at this. Look at this. The law office of Mike Howard. So this is Karmelo Anthony's lawyer. He's got 227 reviews, 4.5 rating. But look what happened after today. 12 minutes ago, 2 stars. Why even give him 2? This law firm is not to be trusted for defense. What's the extra star for? Why give him 2? Amon Harvey says, I'd rather get Scooby-Doo to represent me. 1 star 18 minutes ago. Stephanie Callender, she put 1 star 24 minutes ago. 41 minutes ago, watching this attorney office defend Karmelo Anthony, you guys are the worst attorneys. Not only did you not do your due process and verify all the information that we have found, wow, but the fact that you never even called the one person who went on national TV to stand to testify on what happened. And then hopefully it doesn't turn out to be true that your law office is associated with the judge that oversees this case. Let me go back to this real quick. So Juanita laid it all right here. She said that apparently they gave him some evidence that he didn't investigate. Apparently he didn't put a witness on the stand that should have been a witness that was there. And then she says, and then hopefully it doesn't turn out to be true that your law office is associated with the judge that oversees the case. What? Next review, 58 minutes ago. I was extremely disappointed with this attorney's representation in the Karmelo Anthony's case. From my perspective, there were significant issues that appeared to go unaddressed during the trial. Video footage that was reportedly available in much higher quality elsewhere was presented in court in a grainy format, and there was not any meaningful challenge to that issue. One of my biggest concerns was the appearance of the potential conflicts of interest. It was widely discussed that the judge, the prosecutor, and the deceased father had personal relationships or relationships with one another. Whether or not those relationships ultimately affected the outcome, I expect the defense attorney to thoroughly examine and address any potential conflicts on behalf of the client. Then they say, from my perspective, that did not happen. I was also concerned by reports and observations from journalists regarding interactions involving witnesses that raised questions about the integrity of the proceedings, regardless or whether those concerns ultimately had met. I expect the defense to investigate, challenge, or at least address those issues on the record. I did not see the level of scrutiny or advocacy that would have expected in a case with so much at stake. They are laying the reviews on him right now. 1 hour ago, do not hire this firm. Worst attorney ever. Too lazy to do the job right. This person said 1 star an hour ago. One witness called. Unbelievable. Another 2-star review an hour ago. I don't know why there's 2 stars going on. Hour ago, you let Karmelo Anthony down. My heart is broken. 1 star 5 hours ago. He is famous for blaming the victim's defense. "16 hours ago. Did you guys hear about this? Did you guys hear about this one? I just heard about this morning. I forgot all about it till I read this comment. Listen to this comment from 16 hours ago. 1 star. Did you stab somebody? Well, if you did, hire Mike. He'll get you off with the he slipped and fell into my knife defense. Absolutely genius legal strategy. We haven't seen the likes of something like that since Johnny Cochran. He will get you off with, they slipped into my knife. I forgot that was even mentioned in the courtroom. They mentioned that he slipped onto Karmelo's knife. That was, hold on. What was the exact words? If I can pull up the exact words, I forgot about that. Let's see. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm trying to get the exact wording that was said in court, because that was said. I thought it was a joke at first when I first. Yep, that he slipped and fell on a knife. He literally slipped and fell on the knife. I don't know. Would you guys use that defense if you were the attorney? Is that what you guys would have said too? Would you have said, oh, he slipped and fell on a knife? He had a bunch of 5 stars. Had a bunch of 5 stars. Couple 1 stars here and there. But he had a bunch of 5 stars. I wonder how much they paid for him.
Or if the police tell you to during a traffic stop. To be safe, it's always best to follow the orders of the police officer. If they tell you, show me your hands, show them your hands. If they say get out of the car,
this is
get
Mike,
out of the car.
The lawyer.
Even if the officer.
Man, they're lighting him up. Even on his Instagram, they're lighting him up. First comment, boy, you are horrible. We are never coming to you ever. Next comment. But what can I say? Why doing so is I'm doing this under duress. Next, look at this. Somebody put a meme, absolute garbage. Here we go with this defense again. Look, this comment. Told a jury that an unarmed kid impaled himself with your client's knife. He failed on the knife. And when I was reading, it said the jury gasped like, the jury gasped when he told the jury that he fell on a knife. Now, there's some comments in here I can't even say. You did a horrible job on this case. You did not call witnesses. You should have called his brother as a witness and shown jury evidence. Next comment, you literally suck. They are letting this man have it. Here we go again. You didn't think it was necessary to disclose a potential conflict of interest in Karmelo's case, given that the judge and the district attorney had personal relations with his parents. How was that determined not to affect the fairness of the proceedings? Next comment, was you paid, my guy? Yeah, they're letting this guy have it. Anywhere you can leave a comment, they are doing it. They are doing it. Doing it on Facebook. Let's see. Let's see what we got on Facebook. Oh wow, look at these comments. Well, guys, we done stepped into the issue right here. We done stepped into the whole issue of divide and conquer right here. Very first comment. Absolutely disgusting that you're representing that thug Karmelo. You should be ashamed of yourself. Comment after that. Shut up, racist. One guy left a comment. Thank you, Mike, for overseeing Anthony's case. We pray for victory in court. Somebody say he's one of the good ones. So most of these comments on the Facebook page are from a few days ago. Oh, guys. Oh. Now he's got to try and remove all these comments off Google. Now he's got to hit up Google and say, hey, these people weren't my clients. Can these be removed? Deliberation for the time given is probably going to be longer because the range is so wide. It's so wide. So it is probably going to be longer. It's so wide. 5 to 99 years. Was he court appointed? I think he was paid for. I think they paid him. Lisa says growing up amongst black folks does not give you the black experience. Oh, man. You have a point. Lisa does have a point because growing up white people doesn't give you the white experience. So she does have a point there. That's like growing up with females doesn't give you the female experience. I get it. You don't know what it feels like to have a period to get pregnant. Oh, you guys. Well, I am about to get off of here for now. I will be back when, of course, if it comes back today, what happened, I will be back today. But I'm about to get off of here for now. I'm gonna have another video uploaded tonight too about what happened with the Juice and Alex, how they got arrested. I'm gonna have a video about that. So, but I will come back live if they come back today and, you know, they tell us, hey, he gets 5 to 99 years. So I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in today. Thank you so much. It's been great. Love talking with you guys. Love it a lot. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Saul Madison, who's always in the chat. He makes people mad, but he's always in the chat. so Madison be pissing people off, but he's always in the chat. Oh. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. Yeah, I figure you were talking about the little cat hair I got. I don't grow much. I don't grow. That's why I cut it a lot of time. I don't grow much. You see this? This is what you get. That's all you get. I have nothing. That's all you get. I don't grow much. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and everything else. It says Saul Madison is trying to get the black experience. I'll give Saul Madison my a temporary black card. He can borrow a temporary black card, okay? So you can get I'll give you a temporary black card, all right? Make sure you hold the black card on you while you're driving. Okay, make sure you hold it on you while you're driving, all right? Oh. Yep, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate the live. Like I said, I'll come back on if they come back today with the actual sentencing. Love you guys. Take care. I'm gonna drop another video later. This is Fugitive TV. I am out.